Hello and welcome to episode 28 of I'm Fine, a chat between myself, Damo, and someone who's just smashed out two 60k close grip tricep press right in front of my eyes.
Well, 2 times 30.
So, but there's one in each hand.
Yeah, it was 60k altogether.
I was trying to pump you up then.
I was pumped, but
it was very
accuracy
impressive.
is important.
Mark. That was the end of the bit I did.
Okay.
This is a chat around the subjects of health, wealth, well-being, fitness, sport, conspiracy, and lots of stuff around potato-based snacks. Seems like quite a theme, crisps, doesn't it? And it's a shame that you've actually given them up. But
yeah,
I don't want to.
For someone who seems obsessed by them.
Yeah, I don't want to. I think I like talking about them.
Yeah,
I don't want to stop talking about crisps. I think they're my favourite thing. We're all work in progress, and this podcast is no exception. In short, it's a poke at our perfectly imperfect lives. And if we can make just one person feel like they're not alone in all this madness, then our work here is done. Now, apart from asking for email correspondence and affirmation and just general praise, we don't ask for a huge amount on this podcast, I don't believe. But if you'd like to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, that would be most appreciated.
Yeah.
So coming up in warm up and stretch, we've got some catch-ups to do, bookmarks, apologies. In work-life ballet, we're going to pick up on some essentials and non-essential stuff off the back of last episode. Got the police in here, which was we trailed at the end of the last one, didn't we? Mm-hmm. I'm a bit nervous.
Well, I've
put a big kind of asterisk next to it, but we'll just go for it, see what happens.
The gall.
What's the worst that could happen? We'll get thrown in jail.
Yeah, by the feds.
Yeah. We've renamed our Drop and Give Me 20 section. We've just had a business meeting.
Yeah.
Off mic, and like all good business meetings, it was short, and you went, "This is what I think we should call this section," and it was like, "I agree,
I concur."
Yeah,
Your Honour.
And that's how we work. That's how we roll.
Slick brevity.
Yeah, yeah. So we've now called this section Brain Food, and in Brain Food we're going to be talking about sleep. I was saying not necessarily an alternative view to sleep, but we're going to look at maybe some aspect of it that not everybody looks at.
Okay, I don't know what you're going to say.
You don't. So how are you? This is a bit odd, isn't it? Because we've mixed things up again.
Yeah.
It is Saturday, but we have just trained.
Yeah.
Which has kind of thrown me a little bit.
Because Thursday's training session was us talking for 58 and a half minutes. And then with a minute left, I went, let's do some bench press. And I felt I didn't deliver as a personal trainer after 8 reps going.
I certainly didn't deliver as a client either, did I? It was.
Who'd have thought we'd spend all our time talking?
Yeah, never happened before, has it?
No. And all my other clients are going, there's no shock there.
But it was good.
Yeah, you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
A bit different today.
Yeah.
For you, I guess, in terms of...
Weren't you? Because we've never... This seems... We'd always talk about a lot of firsts in this, don't we? But I've never actually trained with you. I took it in turns to do stuff.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thanks for, being patient and putting on the baby weights.
It's good. It was good. It worked well.
I got a workout just putting on your weights, which is good.
No, I think it's good to mix up. I said at the time, it's. I know sometimes when I've been in the gym with different people and you learn things, and I think it does motivate. You were lifting a hell of a lot more.
Certainly a lot more than I did on Thursday.
There's a little bit of honour there, wasn't there?
I think there was that. Your kind of recovery bit is just as long as the other person's doing it.
Yeah.
So if you kind of hurry that, but you're straight in, aren't you? No mucking about. No, it's good. So I have trained with someone before and we took it in turns, but just not done it with you. So it was nice.
No, I enjoyed it.
It's whether I get an invite back, isn't it? That's the awkward next bit, isn't it? So when we're training, I'm really busy.
Yeah.
So, you can tell me.
Yeah. It was okay. We'll do it again.
So how are you? All right?
Yep.
I don't think I even asked you that. I might have done.
I haven't asked you either.
No, we haven't even done that earlier. We just kind of got on with it, didn't we?
I think, like you're saying, it's been a bit of a mixed day because we probably did ask each other before the training session how we were.
Do we?
And then we've just had a business meeting in the kitchen. So there's only so many times that I actually give a fuck.
We couldn't even save it for this, could we?
No. How are you?
But we're both okay, are we?
Yeah.
Good weeks? Feel like they're flying by.
Don't
know whether it's just when it goes dark, everything just seems to speed up. But
I think sometimes for me, my resume of the week tends to be the resume of the last bit of the week I can remember. So the day before.
Yeah, we said that on a different cast.
I can't really remember Monday, Tuesday, Friday. Friday was a good day.
Yeah.
And today I've enjoyed. So it feels like a good week. But
I think since you said that, you can have a whole week defined by an hour, can't you?
Yeah.
It's only because you said that I look out for that a little bit more.
Yeah.
So we mentioned Bill Casey, who started off the moon landing conspiracy.
All right, yeah.
And it was mention of the word pamphlet in there, and I just thought that's really quite a nice word. I mean, I don't know how many kind of conspiracies are necessarily started by pamphlets these days, by a nice bit of print. There was a film, wasn't there, Conspiracy Theory, years ago, like Mel Gibson or something. He was kind of in a room, wasn't he, just printing stuff, and it was all paper, but it wasn't before the digital age. I don't know, something nice about that, isn't there?
Pamphlet as a word is probably, I haven't heard it for a long time.
But it feels like propaganda, doesn't it, pamphlet?
Yeah, I guess because it's briefer than a magazine, a pamphlet, is it?
I don't know. Let me have a little looky. So pamphlets consist of a single sheet of paper that is printed on both sides and folded in half, in thirds or in fourths, called a leaflet, or it may consist of a few pages that are folded in half and saddle stapled at the crease. To make a simple book. And did you know a pamphleteer is a historical term for someone who produces or distributes pamphlets, especially for a political cause? That was one thought for the day. Ivorian doll. Now, I had some editing to do on that. On that one, didn't I? This is 2 episodes ago, now, wasn't it? But I just wanted to follow up on that and do a little bit of... Not you didn't do your research, but you're right. I went and looked at the playlist.
Right.
And on 11th of November 2020, it was pretty much... It was a lot like my edit, apart from it didn't have beeps in. They were just... The words just were removed. However, the content, and that's what we're talking about, wasn't the actual content matter... was you could still pretty much understand what they were saying and fill the gaps in for yourself.
Even with the beeps, I was listening to mine and thinking, it's obvious what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is, But it was, and you think that's just over on, no one's talking about that yet. One word in the Fairy Tale of New York, and it's getting pulled. So it's a real weird one, isn't it?
The whole, I mean, I know I was saying my views on censorship, and you can't just put all your views in one sentence. But what I often think when I hear something that I question that's being played on the media, if someone in EastEnders stood in the pub and read what I read, EastEnders would get even with the beeps. EastEnders would go, why is he standing at why is someone in EastEnders standing at the bar talking about oral sex and beep beep beep? And yet it's acceptable, but it isn't acceptable enough to play it without the beep. So do you see what I mean? It's almost like Radio 1 are going, we're going to play this because it's music. We're not going to play a lot of the words because we don't have those words. But inherently, it's a song about, and it's then going to be played at 7:30 in the evening. Play it on EastEnders, and the whole country would be in outrage.
Also having it on the kind of BBC Sounds now, it is getting played anytime. So it's not about there's no watershed.
No.
So anyone's got access to it. It just seems that One Extra seems like the edgy partner of Radio 1, doesn't it? Where you just put all the naughty stuff on there.
Yeah.
And it's known for being edgy, so that's okay.
I told you
it's definitely double standard.
I listened to a podcast on BBC Sounds that is basically 2 DJs just swearing a lot and saying all the things we couldn't say on the BBC.
Really?
And they just swear loads and talk jibber jabber. It wasn't relevant to anything. It was probably as mindless as ours.
We're halfway there, aren't we? We talk mindless jibber jabber. We just don't. Maybe we need to swear more.
But we're not getting paid by the BBC. But it was almost like the point of the podcast was to say words that we can't say on the radio.
Oh, really?
There wasn't anything inherently different about it. And I just thought, there's edgy and edgy.
Yeah.
I mean, we use swear words in the traditional...
Brilliantly. We don't
brilliantly,
use, They're not,
I'm trying to think of the word when you say... They're not gratuitous.
I was going to say they're not punctuation.
Okay.
F's and F's, like commas and things, then you are in trouble, aren't you?
Here's a good one for you. Fun fact. On Shagged, Married, Annoyed. Interestingly, they put 2 asterisks in Shagged. It's like, really?
And they were on, because I hadn't heard about them until I watched Sunday Breakfast. He was on with his wife.
Yeah.
And they put a bit of take, because they brought a book out now.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll do the same. When we've made it, when we've had 50-odd million
And in fact,
downloads.
I was going to read a paragraph from my book, my upcoming novel, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Save that one. Yeah,
Have you got it with you?
It's in the car.
Is it? On your laptop?
Yeah, but if I read it there,
you left your laptop in the car.
You wouldn't hear
You don't know this area, do you?
I love this area. All the gardens are so neat.
Yeah, they are.
It's very Stepford-wise around here. Seriously.
I still wouldn't leave your laptop now. Seriously.
The robots are good.
My neighbour's a right dodgy sod.
Yeah. Does he listen to this?
No, I won't tell him about it. Sorry, were you saying fun fact? Sorry.
Oh, shag, married, avoid.
Yes, sorry.
Avoid. Annoyed.
Annoyed. Yeah.
Avoid. Whatever.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. Good podcast. Quite funny. Read out quite a few things from listeners that were good, entertaining.
Okay.
Gentle hint there. And the guy said that he likes to sing. He was saying the songs he likes to sing along to in the car. And he said there's that bit that obviously he's never going to say the N-word.
Yeah.
Quite right. But he said he doesn't want to just go beep every time it comes or just not say the word.
Yeah.
So he says fella.
Oh, right, instead.
And he was just doing some lyrics, and it sort of takes it down to quite a nice level.
Yeah.
And he's like singing some, I think one of Jay-Z's songs has got it in the title, and he was just going.
Okay, just replace it.
Yeah, and it's
good.
all right. And I think that's good.
Yeah.
I thought that was
That works.
He said I can sing along. He said otherwise there's the embarrassing bit of not saying anything, and then your head says that word.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean you're hearing it inside?
Yeah, then you might say it by mistake, and no one really wants to say it, did they? So there was a bookmark.
Mm-hmm.
You asked me to...
I demanded. I was so bloody up myself.
Yeah.
Supercilious.
That's not where I'm going, but I just take that standard these days.
No, it's like, do this.
Yeah, and I did, didn't I?
Reminded me of the secretary in The Rise and Fall of Reggie Perrin. Same dress.
Well, no, there was one that I took notes on. I don't know Reggie Perrin. We've had this chat before, haven't we?
No, I remember Partridge and no Reggie Perrin.
I remember the titles where he runs into the sea.
You're so young.
Yeah, I know. Younger, don't I? But I don't remember what it was like.
Okay.
I don't.
Passed you by.
Yeah.
Okay.
The two Ronnies was edgy when I was growing up. But yeah, you mentioned something about how the dollar is important now, and I was like, it's always been important. It's always been the thing that just has made everything tipped.
No, bollocks. I tell you what, I'm just going to do a quick rewind. I've done some I was on a mindfulness course today. And one of the things that came, we had an icebreaker.
Yeah.
And the icebreaker was, you go Fofbok.
Yeah.
You shut your eyes. I think there was 9 of us. And the facilitator starts with the number 1.
Mm.
And of the 9 people, you then call out 2, 3, 4, and you try and get to 30. If 2 people say the same number at the same time, you go back to 1. And it's an interesting...
Right.
So you're sitting there with your eyes shut, so there's no form of communication.
Yeah.
All sitting there in like a good mindful position. Facilitator goes 1, then someone goes 2, and then you're waiting. It's like, when am I going to say 3?
Right.
And the feedback was very interesting because people were going, oh, I really failed because I said 11 at the same time as someone else. And it was interesting to describe that as failure.
Mm-hmm.
And also getting to 30 was the aim.
Mm.
But what the facilitator said afterwards is, she said, I always find it quite amusing when people say 2 numbers at the same time because I'm like watching you with your eyes and I can see your facial expression of disappointment. We go back to 1. And she asked me my view of it. No, she asked a couple of people and one person said, oh, I was really nervous. And one said, I feel that I failed because I let the side down by saying the number the same, which is an interesting perception. It isn't failure. You've just said a number out loud. Mm. And she said, oh, Mark, what about you? And I went, I smashed it. And I know you don't like that phrase. That's why I used it. And she said, why? And I said, well, I worked out. And she went, is this competition, Mark? And I went, yeah. She went, it's an icebreaker. But what I worked out was that if she did 1, there was always a gap. So if I said 2 really quickly, like literally as soon as she said 1, I was safe. I got my 2 in. I was never going to clash. Yeah. Job done. Yeah. But she was explaining that icebreakers tend not to be competitive. They're more about working as a team. Mm-hmm. The point I was going to make is that already in this podcast, I've already been confrontational with you on everything. So I'm going to...
Again, I don't know what your point is.
You always make out as if my monologues have a point. I don't even know where this started. What was the question you just asked?
I've just been saying things to kind of, get you going, that's all.
What were we talking about at the beginning of this?
Taxes. I said the dollar is all important.
Oh, no. And I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Look back at people like Bourneville, for example, or Procter & Gamble.
Uh-huh.
2 companies based, I know Bourneville, I think Procter & Gamble might have been built on Quaker background, definitely an altruistic background, but Bourneville
was Quaker land, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Quaker land, and that's why when you go up, it's impossible. I went to a conference centre there and you can never find a pub because the way it's built, there has to be a certain...
There is one. Well, I did my foundation in art and design in Bourneville.
Right.
So I spent a year there. And we found a pub.
There is a pub there, but it has to be a distance.
You have to walk to it out of the village of Bourneville. Yeah, right.
But that was set up to help the workers. That was set up. That wasn't all about the dollar. I mean, it was altruism.
Your biggest kind of, the village was built for the people that worked at the chocolate factory. And
in fact, not even Bourneville. If you think where I
don't
live,
know. Yeah,
it's hard. There's a big distance between the pubs, and if you think of the roads going up towards Bromley Heath, Quakers Road, Quakers Close, there's a Quaker meeting hall in Frenchay.
Oh, is there?
And there's not a lot of pubs. So it's I think something like Bourneville or Procter and Gamble, who did Port Sunlight. I think it's down towards Liverpool, and it was set up for the workers, a high standard of accommodation and altruistic.
Yeah,
it wasn't all about
the dollar. There's an element of not everybody. Of course, there's always an opposite to what I'm going to say, but people get paid enough so they can have their own houses. I imagine back then they didn't pay them the equivalent and gave them a house as well. And you could always argue, they're right by the factory. They're never going to be late, are they? So there's an element of let's just have our workforce right by the factory. You know what I mean? So they can turn up
into
on
some
site.
Stalinist plot, and I'm making it
Not
into
at
the
all.
lovely
I'm
Quakers.
just saying you could look at that and go, hold on, there's
Method
it
in their
sounds like a
madness.
really good thing, but he's probably sitting there. I don't. This is another one. I haven't done the research. Dollar's important there, isn't it? In making that happen, there has to be productivity and in industry in order to keep
to keep the business
back
going.
to the altruism bit. I'm sure they still made money.
Yeah,
didn't they? They did not make money, and did they make more money? And were they more efficient because their staff lived right next door? I don't know.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
You're just poking the bear.
Yeah, you poked it first.
That's all I hear whenever I speak to him about podcasts. God, he's getting cocky.
Yeah. We touched on Bitcoin.
Yeah. Update.
So 8 years ago today was, today when I wrote that, so eight years ago, sometime this week, that person who bought 2 pizzas with their Bitcoins, if they hadn't have done that and they kept them, based on the rate that it was when we last talked about this, they would have $82 million. I did the maths. Got the calculator out.
I've noticed sometimes I say do the math, the Americanization, don't I?
Yeah.
Which I don't actually like, but I like saying it because it makes me edgy.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. I've got a bit of
I've
got a bit of an update on the hot water bottle. Didn't mention this.
Do you want to put it in the next section?
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to, I think this is going to be a standing feature. I just want to apologise for, I do just sometimes come out with stuff with a confidence that it's right.
Yeah.
But without the evidence. And I think sometimes, so for example, this isn't an apology, but when I'm listening to podcasts and they get something wrong, I'm there shouting and going, how could you? And I become hypercritical. It's almost like, you're doing a podcast, you should be correct.
Do they start off the sentence with, here's a fact for you?
Fun fact. Perhaps I shouldn't call them fun facts.
You say fun facts. So no one's going to be taking that as gospel, are they?
Here's fun.
You put fun in it, it's like, it's like saying fake news.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. No, I just said, so for example, when I said the Dragon's Den 4, there's 5 of them, isn't there?
I don't think anyone's
worried
about that.
Maybe it's just
I think it's probably, that's all right.
Yeah, okay.
You're probably,
no, I just
you're
think
being too hard on yourself.
I think sometimes I just do come out with a bit too much bollocks. I maybe need to rein some of it.
I don't know. No. I think I've got it here. I think you owe me an apology on the one-touch rule and the coat. Also, when we're training it, I noticed your coat was on the floor. I think you've got a problem.
Okay, with hooks.
I think you've got a yeah. I think you've got a problem with where you put your coat.
I tried to do something today because this is the first time we trained together so that you wouldn't notice. You know when I'm lying and I grab the bar to do the bench press?
Yeah.
I normally take about a minute to get my hands.
I noticed you were faffing around with your hands.
No, that was like trying not to.
Oh, right. You normally take... Is it a thing? Oh, okay.
Every time I do an exercise, it takes about a minute to get my hands in a place that my brain will be happy with.
There's lots of those golfers who take about a minute.
Yeah. Or tennis players who like bounce 16 balls and then chuck them all away.
And keep pulling their pants out their arse like Nadal. Yeah.
So,
okay, I didn't know, but okay, you were trying...
That was the cut down version.
You were really conscious that you had to crack on because I was there.
And also I
Do you think I was just going to go, oh, come on! Just lift it, man!
I don't know.
I thought you were just getting your position. Yeah, I thought you were just, being a pro and getting your hands in a position.
It's just
Are you doing things in your head as well? While you're doing that?
Yeah. Sometimes counting and sometimes the serrated edge on the bar. Sometimes it has to feel completely right. It is too much. I'm trying to reduce that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, one touch rule.
Yeah.
I think the coat one was a really good example. You just went, no, it's just a bad example. There's better. Or mine was better. It's like, and I think it's a really good one.
Okay. So you're coming back with me because you've decided your idea was better than mine. Is it based on... I thought you were going to say I've researched.
I'm not saying it's better. I didn't say it's better. Why is everything else to be better than someone else's? God.
But why were you saying it? Why were you saying...
Well, I used the coat thing as an example of the one-touch rule, and you went, I think it's a bad example, or mine was better. Maybe that is just it. You've been competitive. Well, I think it was a really good example.
Okay.
I think it was as good as... Well, then you went, oh, here's an example. It's like opening the mail, something you never did.
Yeah.
It's just genius. Okay,
Yeah.
right. No, but I think it's a really good thing.
Okay.
About putting something in the, dealing with putting it where it should be at that point in time, whether it's a big coat, whether it's mail, filing the mail,
and
doing that action. I totally agree with all that.
Yeah, and that would be backed up by the person saying number 12 was a good...
Oh, putting the keys on the
hook.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. On to work-life ballet. So that was really loud in your ears, wasn't it? You all right for time? You just... It was like your heart, or you're running late? You've got to be anywhere.
I was just looking, thinking, we said we're going to be a little bit slicker.
Yeah, well, I had, but none of those bookmarks were working.
There wasn't a lot of lols, was there?
No.
Can't force it.
Okay, I got essentials and non-essentials written here. Okay, water bottle.
I think I quoted it was £10. I'm pretty certain when I went.
I don't think you said that. You didn't say how much.
I had in my head it was £10. So I thought I would look on the website to see what the description of the hot water bottle was, because I may have missed a trick.
Oh, you mean you might have been given the water bottle a necessary stick?
Well, not now. Might be, I don't know, something trendy, or it might mean something, or it might relate to, the only way is Essex, or something. Anyway.
Bet it didn't.
Okay, so I decided to read the description because I don't want to just criticise something out of hand. Far be it
it's
from
our
me.
brand.
So it's for sale in Argos and Sainsbury's, because Sainsbury's bought Argos.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. Again, that's like buying...
It's a great move, isn't it?
It's like buying Blockbuster video stores. You should not buy Argos.
They must have seen something in that, mustn't they? That no one else could see.
No, I just think it was a bad thing.
Okay,
so
what does it say?
I went to Argos first just to see if they maybe had a different... And on Argos, the heading is Happiness Not Now Hot Water Bottle. I don't know what the happiness has got to do with it.
Right.
There was 2 reviews, 5 out of 5 for design, it's a hot water bottle, and 5 out of 5 for heat retention. So, so far so good. This was from Thorpe, aged 25 to 34, from York, UK. I don't know why there's 3 Yorks, don't ask me.
No, okay.
So good they named it 3 times.
Yeah.
That's quite clever, Mark. He gave 5 for heat retention and 5 for design, no comment. And the second one is from Norm, 55 to 64, Kent.
Yeah.
Kent, UK.
Yeah.
Don't beat that.
Yeah.
And he said, we bought the same kettle 7 years ago and it lasted well until recently, so we decided to go for the same one, and so far I've had no problems.
He's reviewing the wrong product.
He's reviewing a kettle, but he's put it under the not
now water bottle.
That's Norm from Kent. So those are the 2 reviews. Those are independently. We can't take responsibility for anything they say, said Argos. Yeah. So I went to see what Argos, how did they sell this hot water bottle? What was their
thrust?
Okay, picture the scene. When you're having a bad day and cannot wait to get home and cuddle up on the sofa, pick up this soft, fuzzy fur hot water bottle with the fitting slogan of Not Now. There is no punctuation in the whole of that sentence. That's by the by. I'm not going to get tired.
So you've put some.
Soft, fuzzy fur and hot didn't have any commas. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I'm not
sure.
It says it all without you saying a word. So I think we're getting back to what we said. The hot water bottle is there for...
Piss off, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Its bright pink colour is perfect for the princess in you.
Okay.
Take that how you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who just needs a comfortable, warming evening cuddled up.
Right.
Let me repeat that. This has been written.
Please don't.
This has been written by someone whose job is to write.
A team of people. This has been written by a team. 50 people in a room writing this.
It says it all without you saying a word. Its bright pink colour is perfect for the princess in you who just needs a comfortable, warming evening cuddled up. Its large 1.5 litre capacity is great when you need a big warming cuddle.
As opposed to a litre cuddle.
Yeah. To prevent fire risk, please ensure this product is used in a clean microwave.
Hold on a minute.
Okay. Yes. Go on then.
Who on earth puts a hot water bottle in the microwave?
What the fuck does it matter whether it's clean or dirty?
Hold on, which bit are you concentrating on?
No.
Well, both of those things.
To prevent fire risk, okay, so to stop there being a fire, please ensure this product is used in a clean microwave.
Okay, right, okay, with you.
Because
rather than bits, of your,
ones will
bits of your lasagna splashed to the roof, you know what I mean, is going to cause
a tomato-based fire raging through. The fire brigade called. Do you need any help? Not now.
Awesome.
Anyway.
Hold on, can we just... Okay, yeah. I'm going to bookmark that. Go on.
Okay, you can go now. If you've got something to add.
What? Who... Please don't tell me you've ever put a hot water bottle in a microwave.
I don't know why you'd be putting it in there.
But don't you put the kettle on?
And fill the hot water bottle.
From the kettle?
I'm guessing, yeah.
What the...
But this is to prevent
Please tell
fire
me people
risk.
don't put it in there.
I don't know. Anyway, so Argos, £8.
Right.
Sainsbury's had the same description because...
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Well, that's not good for SEO.
For the princess in you.
Shouldn't have duplicates.
Sorry, for the what?
You shouldn't have duplicate copy. It's
Okay.
bad for search engine optimization.
Okay. Thanks for losing half the listeners, just as I was getting
I
funny.
think you'll find I might have gained some.
Not the ones we want. And, anyway, in Sainsbury's, £8 down to £6.
Right.
So I went to my local Sainsbury's.
You bought one, didn't you?
And you can see the No, I didn't.
Oh.
You can see the Argos from the aisle. So you can buy
it's in the store?
Yeah, so you can buy it for £6 or you can walk to Argos and buy it for £8. The choice is yours.
As you said in the last episode, the world has gone mad.
Putting it in a microwave.
So the Argos is essentially a concession store. So going back to the essentials, non-essentials, was that...
Well linked.
Thank you.
Well linked.
Thank you. We've got onto this, right? And your eyes have got big again. We're either talking about crisps.
Well, you're pointing a pen at me.
I know. We're either talking about crisps or we're talking about we're all getting played.
Yeah.
I know the buttons now. It's literally
Okay. Bring me the controversy. The things that everybody's talking about.
So was the Argos originally in lockdown and lockdown stuff, was the Argos open or not? Because
the Argos was open.
Has it been open throughout?
But you can only book online, so it's in effect a click and collect.
Right.
Which is interesting because if you think about it, you go into an Argos, you fill in the little form, nick the pen, take the form to somebody, and they go and get you a parcel.
Yeah.
Okay. Because COVID is rampant.
Oh yeah.
This is how you stop COVID. So instead of doing that, you fill it in online.
Yeah.
You go to the person
who
then does exactly the same, walks and gets you a parcel and passes it to you.
The thing is, there's less COVID-y fingers on pens, isn't there?
Everyone nicks the pens.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
Puts them behind the ear.
I have done it before.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
So the essential, non-essential, we had that discussion. The original thing, take a step back. The original thing was when I was saying about not being able to get the raspberries, that you can only buy essentials. And that was based in what happened in Wales.
Yeah.
It wasn't said as a law, but it was said as a guideline that they didn't want supermarkets having non-essentials in the second lockdown because they didn't want to encourage people basically being in the shop as long as possible. Just go in, get your essentials and go back.
Okay.
But it wasn't a law. The guidance says what things could be sold. So a non-essential can be sold as long as it's in effect an inherent part of the store.
Yeah.
If it's a concession, separate with its own separate
so like your
walls.
electrical
So if there's
store.
a little Curry's within a Sainsbury's, you can't go into it. If Curry's basically smashed down their walls and just put all their shelving out in Sainsbury's, you can.
Yeah.
So the whole essential, non-essential now is just a total red herring.
As long as it's all in the same room, game on. Right?
Game on, yeah. And so this is why it's happening in other stores now that are putting, and you mentioned the charity shop, other stores are putting...
Yeah, that got shut down.
Yeah.
It was a shelf with a couple of tins of beans on it and a couple of loaves of bread. If they'd gone to town on it a little bit more...
Yeah, well, that leads us on to two related stories.
Yes.
One is a friend mentioned on Facebook that someone was encouraging people to shop local, and a local vape store was now selling toilet rolls and one or two other sundry items to get round this.
Yeah.
Person on Facebook was saying, rather than spending it all on Amazon, can you please come to your local store? I mean, there is a message there, I guess, that whether vaping should necessarily be advertised during a pandemic where people's breathing isn't at its best, but that's by the by. It's legal. But they had done the same by putting in products to make it more than a vape store. But the interesting one, and this came in lockdown 1, and I hadn't even realised, I went to Marks and Spencer's, went into the food store through the door.
Yeah.
A security guard called me back and said, you can't go through that door. Literally, the door opened. I'd walked in and I'm in this food store. Yeah. And he said, you have to go through this door, which was 50 yards away at the other end of the store.
Right.
What it's turned out to be is if you have to get through the rest of the store, this bit about it being integrated within the store, you can buy other things. So although this food store for Marks and Spencer's could be seen as just a standalone store because it had an entrance and an exit. Yeah. They made you walk through the whole store to get to the food, which now means in this current lockdown, you can buy anything you pass. Right. Because the food isn't seen as a concession. Although you could get into it without going to the rest of the store. Right. The way the entrance and exit is sorted, you have to go through which basically means the whole of M&S is opened because it has some food, which isn't that much different to the vape shop or your charity shop.
So we talked about this, didn't we? And we've kind of touched on the Magna Carta stuff, people quoting, Freeman law and trying to get their way around this. When I think you made a point to me, all they had to do, I think you probably got an example in a minute, all they had to do is look at the guidelines and just be a little bit creative.
Yeah. Instead of having, 17,000 she's up to now, isn't she? The fine.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's standing at 17,000 because it
you're like,
multiplies.
Well, just, like you said, if your film sessions in there, did a promotional video and people trained whilst you're doing that, you could have got round it. Correct? If you recorded a podcast in a gym, you could have got round it, etc. There's lots of things she could have done rather than just winding the police up. I mean, you probably didn't get into that, but there's certainly an element of that.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all feel for them because they've shut down, they've lost their livelihoods. However, there's other people who've just got on with it, isn't there? And
Real Life Health and Fitness, it's a gym north of England. They just opened another one in Oldham, or just opening one. And I'd sent some information to Tyler, who's the guy that owns the gym and set it up, because he'd had quite a lot of police presence in the gym based, I think, on people basically grassing him up that there's people in the gym. First time, I think 3 people came, and I think the second time 6 police came. I think I mentioned the 3 coming before, but he then had 6. Yeah. When we had this discussion, we were sort of having both sides, which is if the police come and want to have a quick look around, the easiest thing to do is go, fine, you can have a quick look around. Yeah. What I was saying to you is that the principle of this is it's the same as the other gym that had 12 or 13 people coming up. Yeah. It's that level, firstly, of proportionality. 6 people wouldn't come to your house if you were robbed even.
Yeah.
And also, and Tyler videoed a lot of this, and there was a sort of standoff because Tyler was basically saying, if you've got a warrant, you can come in and look at what you want. And he wasn't denying there was people in the gym. The irony of the whole situation, that some of the people in the gym, he employs a couple of nutritionists, 2 or 3 nutritionists, were actually doing online provision. And that's why they were there. And I think one of the things I was saying about gyms is it's almost, when I used to be a bookie, the law was you could never see the inside of a betting shop. Right. That was the law. Nobody from the street was allowed to see inside. Yeah. So back in the day when you went past betting shops, they had all those plastic strips. When the door was open in the summer, they'd have those plastic strips so people couldn't look in. And there is that bit around, when I was a betting shop manager, my house insurance went up 50%. And I rang someone up and went, I'm a retail manager. And he said, you're in the same bracket as circus performers, travellers and gypsies. It was like, what? Although I was working for like an international firm, and this is what the point I'm making about Tyler's gym is that the police went there not in the way that they would go to an office block where people are working.
Because you can go in and run the business, you can go in and do managerial duties.
Yes. And this is what I sent through to Tyler. You can do things like receive parcels, or you can do maintenance or cleaning.
And isn't it getting the business ready for when you're back in business again?
And he was doing online provision. That's why the people were there. Yeah. I think it's this...
Because I guess police aren't just going gym to gym and knocking on the door going, hello, are you open? Why are you here? They're not. People are grassing them up, aren't they?
Yeah, but then if people react that way... What I'm saying is, if I'd rung the police in Bristol and said, I've just seen clerical medical insurance down the road and there's some people working in there and I think they're not sanitising their hands or they're not doing something.
Is this a real reference?
No. What I'm saying is, if I'd done a reputable firm and said, I've just done a delivery there and they're not social distancing and they're sharing teacups and they're licking the buttons on the lift, they wouldn't have said, they wouldn't have they wouldn't have sent 6 police. But someone's rung up and said there's people working in that gym. And so they thought it was proportionate to send 6 police. That's the point I'm making. That there's almost a stigma has already been attached now to. And in Bristol, there's what I'm saying is I think the response was due to the fact that it was a gym. And it was therefore okay to send a load of police around and basically go, we're going to search the premises.
Yeah.
And although Tyler knew that what he was doing was completely right, and ironically, some of the work he was doing was actually helping people in the community. And if the police had looked on his website, he could have seen the online provision that's one person in front of a... It's a bit like the sort of Orwellian, the Animal Farm, we're all equal, but some people are more equal than others. I haven't noticed that a lot of,
Yeah. So did Tyler do anything with the information? Did he change anything? Or
what happened on the video that Tyler put up was very much about him standing his ground and basically saying, I don't have anything to hide, and the simplest thing in the world, this was the undercurrent, the simplest thing in the world would just be to let you in. But there's 6 of you don't have a warrant, you're coming into my premises. And the thing that did it for me is that one of the police was actually inside the gym, inside these double doors, and Tyler asked, I think it was a woman, to go back into the sort of hallway, and then he'd have that discussion. And one of the coppers said, well, if she comes in, you'll slam the door and lock us out. And Tyler went, if you've got a warrant, you can smash my doors down if you want. So it became confrontational when it needn't have been in the first place. It could have been, like you say, it could have been a phone call. Yeah. Is it right there's 3 or 4 people in your gym? Is it worth
sending 6 police around? I'm sure they could be doing other things. So... We've kind of dodged sleep a little bit. We've kind of touched on weighted blankets.
Yeah.
Hey, you still under the weighted blanket? Not right now. Are you?
No.
Right?
Loving it. Loving it.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I guess we've kind of said to each other that if we did look at sleep, we'd like to kind of give it a slightly different angle, if possible.
Yeah.
But I just had a quick look at sleep patterns.
Okay.
And the main reason for this is because I saw a post about good old Cristiano Ronaldo looking particularly hot.
With his 10-pack.
Oh, with his 10-pack. Yeah. And the guy's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But there's a little section on, I think it was on Instagram where I saw it, and they talked about his sleep pattern.
Oh, yes, okay.
Which I found
just suddenly waking up, you told me that you were going to talk about this, and I thought, I don't know anything about it, and now I've just suddenly realised I've heard about bits of this. Okay. Yeah, carry on. Carry on. What am I like? Yes, I give you permission to speak.
Thank you, is that okay?
You got 3 minutes.
Because I know that there's some people who can do a good 8 hours, get up and fill $1 million, right? I know there's some people who kind of maybe sleep 4 or 5, then have a nap. I know there's people who nap at the drop of a hat, but I can't. I find that really difficult just to go, oh, I feel a bit sleepy, I'm just going to go and have 20 minutes. Yeah. It's not anything I've ever done.
No.
And I really have to work at it because it feels odd and then back into habits and stuff. Even people who kind of feel sleepy when they're driving, they can pull over onto the service station, bang, straight out, bang. To, if I could pull over and then fall asleep, as soon as I got it, I know I'd be groggy. You'd have that kind of, when you get back from a really early morning flight on holiday and you go to bed, you wake up and you've literally no idea how many days you've slept. It's still light out or it's dark, depending on what you get.
Yeah, it's not a good feel.
You don't want to be driving when you've just had that. So, but of course, the more you read about it, the more beneficial short naps are. I found these sleep patterns and I found a few, so I just thought I don't know whether you're aware of it.
When I hear, I'll be able to comment.
As usual. So the first one is monophasic.
Not heard.
which is probably what me and thee do, which is a single 6 to 8 hour sleep, usually at night.
Correct.
So when it goes dark, we go sleep. When it gets light, we get up again. Guess what the next one's called? That one's called monophasic. Guess what?
Polyphasic.
No, you're jumping ahead. But the next one's biphasic sleep.
All right.
Often a 5 to 6 hour core sleep and then a 1.5 hour nap. So basically two naps.
Together, though?
Huh?
Together?
What do you mean together?
Well, do you have
it'd be a monophasic sleep then, wouldn't it? If it was together. What's
the gap between the two?
I don't know. It's normally spread at some point during the day.
Oh, right.
So if you slept, it's not typically it's your core sleep when everybody else sleeps, i.e. nighttime, bedtime, and then maybe a longer nap during the day at some point during the day.
Okay, the reason
there's no specific time.
No, but there's a number of people I know who are saying at the moment they'll sleep till about 5 or 5:30.
Yeah,
and then maybe at 6 or 6:15 be able to get another hour, but it's
Are they still in bed or have they got up?
Yeah, they're still in bed. They know they want more sleep.
Are they dozing? Are they getting up reading? What are they doing?
Just various. There's about 3 or 4 people this week I've spoken to. Some are doing meditation, so some are doing body scans.
Okay. I guess it could be.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't actually...
But it's broken down into 2.
Yeah, it's kind of breaking up. There's all these charts as well. We can put the links up.
Yeah,
but in a biphasic nap, you're short. If you had a short nap, this involves sleeping around 6 hours each night with a 20-minute nap in the middle of the day. But if you had a long nap, your main sleep would be about 5 hours each night with about 1 to 1.5 hours nap in the middle of the day.
Okay.
So
yeah,
polyphasic cycle is 1 to 6 hour period of rest complemented by several 20-minute naps throughout the day. I mean, several. I mean, all this is like, I'll go through them, but when I read all these, I just thought, I'd like to try these, but I'm not sure how practical any of that stuff is to build it into your day. When you've got so used to, I sleep at night, I work during the day, and then I go to sleep again, to suddenly start going, no, I'm going to build naps I'll build them into my diary at work so everyone knows I'm having a little snooze.
It'd be interesting if I could try and do that now. You continue talking and I'll just see if I can get myself to sleep.
Our listeners are. They're definitely polyphasic, I think, when they listen to this, right? Just drifting in and out of consciousness. There's Dymaxion cycle, commonly consists of 4 30-minute naps during the day. And then there's a couple, they're called Uberman and Everyman, which I didn't think was very inclusive. No. So I'm going to call them Uber Person. So Uber Person usually consists of 6 to 8 20-minute naps during the day. So generally a total of 2 hours sleep during the day. The Every Person commonly consists of 4 sleep sessions, often a 3 to 4 hour core sleep followed by 3 naps throughout the day.
It's a lot of...
It's a lot of admin, isn't it? Sleep admin. So Ronaldo's sleep pattern. So normally 4 to 5 90-minute sleeps a day.
Yeah.
And if you look like that and play football like that, I think we should all give it a go.
Yeah.
Of course he eats well and he works out, but sleep is a big part of it. So his sleep coach, and this guy seems to be sleep coach to the stars. Yeah. It's called Nick Littlehales. And he wants his clients to aim for 4 to 5 90-minute cycles during the day. And he says, just like people did before the invention of the light bulb. Before artificial lighting came along in the 1700s, we always slept shorter periods and more often. Shorter at night, midday and early evening with little short breaks. That is how we used to do it. So for everyone who wakes up at 3 a.m, stop worrying about it. It's natural. Which I think I do a bit. I seem to kind of wake at 3 and 5, and then you get up at like 7, and it's like,
So get up at 5 and then make up the extra bit with a nap, or 2 naps or 3 naps. Yeah. I guess there's siestas, isn't there, in Europe?
But it is a hard thing to trial, isn't it? If you're just going to give it a go. You go, let's pick one. Maybe do the bike. Maybe just go, right, I'll sleep slightly less, and I'll book in a nap during lunchtime. Because I always find I get to kind of 2, 3 o'clock, and I seem to hit a wall every single day. So you could go, well, maybe that's your body going, you need to have a bit of a rest.
Yeah.
For someone who's kind of really conscious about when they're at their desk and when they're working, the idea of that just feels like I'm just shirking. I'd happily work into the evenings and I work weekends, bits here and there. So it's not. I shouldn't really be worried about my hours.
No,
as such.
I guess it's maybe,
but it's just that.
Is it seen as being selfish? Though?
Yeah, I think I've got into that mind. Well, lazy. If anyone tries to get hold of me, I was having his nap. That just feels really alien to me. But in terms of productivity and getting your head right, it sounds like everyone should be doing this. Nick Littlehales, Ronaldo's sleep coach, created 5 tips to help people understand sleeping techniques. Become aware of your chronotype. So he says, identify whether you are a morning or an evening person to prevent adopting routines that are counterproductive to your natural sleep patterns. Chronotypes determine whether you are morning or night active. I think a really important thing.
I think people know, don't they?
They may do when they think about it, but they might not even know to stop to think about it.
Yeah.
Morning active, so early birds, these people typically go to sleep between 9 and 11 p.m. and wake up naturally between 5 and 7 a.m. They tend to love breakfast and work best in the mornings and have less daytime fatigue. Evening active, so night owls, this group typically go to sleep between 12 and 3 a.m. and wake up around 9 to 11. These people tend to enjoy evenings, dinner and daytime napping. So the second one was identify your sleep-wake cycles. So Nick says, an essential part of any sleep-wake cycle is to maintain a constant everyday wake time, ideally between 6 to 8 a.m. in harmony with the circadian clock.
Circadian, I think.
Okay. In harmony with the circadian clock.
I might be wrong. circadian cycles are things in your body. There's a whole number of...
Yeah, that's right.
Circadian rhythm.
That's right. It says circadian rhythm is a natural internal process that regulates the sleep-wake cycle and repeats on each rotation of the Earth, roughly every 24 hours. Number 3, recovering cycles. In clinical conditions, sleep is measured in 90-minute periods. So rather than sleeping in one block of 8 hours, try to target 5 cycles, 7.5 hours, or 4 cycles, 6 hours, every 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You can then take a 15, 20, 30-minute nap to take advantage of the 2 other natural recovery windows, midday between 1 to 3 and early evenings between 5 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone keeping up with this? In any 24-hour period, you can create a sleep-wake cycle plan, which can cope with ever-changing schedules whilst allowing you to maintain sustainable recovery. And the last one, you might like this, fuel up with cherries.
Okay.
Heard about cherries?
No. Well, I've heard of them.
Fresh cherries are a great...
I've travelled.
Man of the world. Fresh cherries are a great natural addition to any diet as they contain potassium and magnesium, which aid everyday physical recovery, and anthocyanins, I can't say it, which can help reduce inflammation, speed up muscle recovery after a workout. They also contain melatonin, a hormone that regulates the sleep-wake cycle to help relax, calm, and prepare us for sleep.
Yes.
You gun those anyway, don't you?
Yeah, magnesium especially.
Does this bring you onto your supplement bit nicely or not?
It does bring me onto my supplement bit. I was just now off mic, you said, I don't think your vitamin D fits in there. I'm going to have to because I'm bursting at the seams with vitamin D.
What knowledge? You're literally, you're popping it like...
I am popping it. I mean...
Have you got enough you probably got enough vitamin D in you for the whole country, haven't you?
I have. And I've got packets and packets that I'm still willing to give out. If anyone wants it, I'll give them out. It was just the news that today the government are going to give free vitamin D to 2.5 million people.
It's taken them a while, isn't it?
It's taken them a while, and they're still not going, it has anything to do with COVID. But my thought was...
It's like suddenly announcing masks, isn't it? And going, oh, that's weird. Why didn't we know that before? Yeah. Oh, no, it's not about that. It's cold out.
This by ourselves.
Yeah, we want to keep your mouths warm.
The point I made on my Insta story today on Sprint Fitness 1 was...
That's blatant.
Was... If it's... I'll tell you one of the things... I've seen things on PTs and people like Jordan Syatt and other good people on Instagram who know their stuff, and people going, oh, what's a good supplement to take? I'm a woman age 32. And he's going, you're a human being, first and foremost. Yeah. There are going to be supplements that will be more relevant based on gender for certain things. But there are some things that it doesn't matter, young or old, man or woman, that you should be taking.
Yes.
And the point I'm going to say, I'm just going to mention a couple of the ones on the sleep. I don't take any of the... I do take magnesium, as you said.
Yeah, I knew there's one of them.
Yeah. So the vitamin D, the one thing I wanted to say about the vitamin D was when I put it on my Insta story about, this is all very well giving it to 2.5 million people. But if you think about the logic, the government have said, we are going to give free supplements to vulnerable people. Mm-hmm. If those supplements help the immune system of vulnerable people...
Yeah, I think
then what happens to the other 60 million and to all the children or to all people that are living in tower blocks that don't get the sunlight or the right things? It's almost saying these are very vulnerable. There's other vulnerable people. They can buy their own. And I'm not saying the government should supply everybody with every supplement going. Yeah. But the interesting thing is there's around 500 admissions a year in the UK for rickets.
Right.
And so I looked and vitamin D is essential for bone health and preventing rickets, and this is for younger children. This is going back, this is the most recent ones I could get, so this is 2 years ago. In the UK, the NHS had 285,000 admissions for the following conditions: scurvy, vitamin D deficiency, gout, and rickets.
So they're all sound like oldie worldy diseases.
It's a Dickens novel, isn't it? Basically.
Yeah.
So these numbers are increasing. And I think it's that aspect for me that the government have come out and go, yeah, vitamin D is good, so we're going to give it to vulnerable people. No, it doesn't matter who you are. It's going to be good for you. Mm-hmm. So that was, vitamin D does come into a bit in the sleep thing, but that isn't the thing I'm going to mention. I'm just going to mention 4, I think. So the first one is actually a derivative of a major omega-9 fatty acid that's found in olive oil. It's called olimide. I think it's called olimide. This is seen to be naturally associated with sleep and activates the same receptors as marijuana. And I'm just putting these out, and the reason I'm doing it is they're coming from a website called examine.com, and examine.com looks at all the research is available and comes out just with a clear, concise, if anything is mentioned, don't go out and take it. You should speak to a medical professional, but it's really
We've done our
interesting.
bestest.
We've done our best. We're just telling you what it is. Yeah. And this is all available on the website. And so it isn't, I'm not making stuff up. The second thing is something that I've been hearing loads about at the moment called GABA, G-A-B-A. And it's a neurotransmitter that acts as a downer, and it counters something called glutamate, which is an upper. In brain activation, so a sort of yin-yang association between the two. It's really important in the brain, and they've examined, we're saying oral ingestion is difficult, but there is a lot of information about GABA being something that could help with sleep.
Right.
The third one is one called Valerin, Valerian. This is a herbal tea and supplement commonly used for its sedative and anxiety-reducing effects. Fourth one is melatonin, which you mentioned, I think. That's a hormone secreted in the brain that regulates sleep and is highly sensitive to light therapy and dark therapy. Take it orally. It's non-addictive. So melatonin definitely needs a look. And the dark therapy is the gradual process of eliminating light sources closer to sleep. And as you mentioned earlier, swapping blue or fluorescent light sources for dim red or pink sources. And they're saying about orange tinted sunglasses may be used. So it's a therapy based on your surrounding light, the ambient light.
Yeah.
And again, it's worth a read about dark therapy and light therapy. So yeah, I'm just putting those out there really. They don't come in with recommendations, but I really trust Examine. And it's just things that you don't hear every day.
I have a couple of mailbag items.
Me too.
Do you?
Just before we dig in, I haven't got any uppers here, but I'm just going to lift this a bit. I think the fact we worked so hard in the gym before this session.
Are you feeling it?
I'm not feeling it. I'm feeling full of life, but I'm just thinking the humour, the spark, the je ne sais quoi that people come to us for and demand has been missing so far. So this end section is going to be comedy gold, literary gold. We're just going to, it's
been a very different episode, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be packed full of fun facts.
So those of you who follow us on Instagram, and if you don't do, because it's
good.
It's our playground, isn't it? It's where we all hang out.
Well, it's yours because I don't interfere. Because
you've got it on your phone now.
Yeah, but I wouldn't dare touch something.
Right.
No.
You weren't worried about that, aren't you?
Yeah. I think you do.
It's a liability having you on there. You kind of not that you drink, but you just kind of have a crazy kind of blah, blah moment and just post something.
I almost think you're like a teacher at school, and you wouldn't go and the teacher does the marking.
You send me some things to put up, which is cool. You sent me some pictures. So for those who were on Instagram and have seen, we were talking about Longhorn crisps in whatever it was, and also hanging keys up on a hook. And one of our keen listeners, David, sent us a nice picture of his Longhorns above his keys, his hook and his keys. And he also went into a shop. He's down in Cornwall, and he went into a shop and he rang me up yesterday, laughing his arse off, that he'd just seen some signs, funny signs, and he was thinking of us and thinking about the last podcast, and he sent them through.
You said, "Not now, David."
So I'm going to do what you normally do.
Okay.
And show me. So I'm going to show you, and you can describe.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Okay.
Go on.
Okay. So bright yellow.
Yeah.
It's got a few cartoon bees on. Got no problem with those.
Yeah.
A hive, a poorly drawn hive.
Yeah.
And then it says house swarming.
Yeah. It's good, isn't it? He put under that one, "This is so shit." Next one.
So it's a comedy rhinoceros.
Yeah.
With a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
It couldn't possibly even hold a bottle of wine like that.
Well, because it doesn't have opposable thumbs.
Exactly. And then another bottle of wine, and it says winos. WHINOS.
Yeah. Mega, innit?
What?
Right, go on. You got two more. This one is probably the worst one.
Simples. So it's a meerkat holding just a splodge of ink, which is meant to be beer.
Yeah.
And it says beer
Hold on, you wouldn't
cat.
get beer cat, yeah.
What? Where would you put these?
It's done a play on words, isn't it? Isn't it? It sounds like meerkat, but it's beer.
But
I actually love this one, and I think I might get it. Text me mum and ask her to go and buy it for me.
it looks like a condom on a bike.
Oh, does it?
Have a look.
It does actually. I'll put these on Insta.
Yeah. Don't look at the other ones. It's a condom with...
It's not a condom.
It looks like a condom sucking a toilet roll. Or it could be a bean with a water bottle.
Yeah.
And it says bean cycling.
Yeah.
BEAN.
It's like a runner bean on a bike. Good, isn't it?
Runner bean would have been funnier.
Runner bean cycling?
No, just runner and then a bean in athletics gear.
All right, just because you're an athlete. Anyway, I like those. I thought they were good. Listener contributions. Good, right? Go on, show me yours. What you got?
I've got big shout out to Adam. Mention Adam a lot. He's been a bit quiet, but he's come back. And I showed you the video.
Where's he come back from? Has he been anywhere?
Just been quiet.
All right.
He brought me a gift.
Did he?
I don't know what they're called. Did you know that Elon Musk was the second richest man in the world?
Yeah, this week.
He makes about 8 cars, and he's the second richest man.
What do you mean he's made about 8 cars? What are you on about?
He's not a big car producer.
Eh?
No.
Tesla?
Yeah.
What do you mean they're not? I'm sure they've made more than 8.
I was being pedantic and ironic.
Weren't you now? Come on.
He hasn't made lots. It's more than 8. I accept it's more than 8.
No, this is only in value. This is only stock market.
Yeah, he hasn't got it in his pocket. He can't pay his staff properly.
It's off.
So he sent a very funny
Where's
video.
that Mark been for the last hour?
He's here now. He's back with a vengeance. So he sent a very funny video about how Starbucks got their logo.
It is, yeah.
It'd be good if we could load that up.
We will have to we'll put it somewhere.
With a warning.
Really?
Well, it has mermaid porn in, doesn't it?
It has reference to mermaid porn, but I don't think mermaid porn is it. Oh, it is a thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to see the dolphins, they love it.
Fishy business.
And he's also sent something here which is called the Dutch Reach. You'll love this. I hadn't even shown you this before. Dutch Reach Project, a site to promote the Dutch farhand habit to avoid dooring cyclists or drivers or passengers from stepping into oncoming traffic.
Right. Go on. There's a lot of words in there. I'm not actually sure what that is. I heard cycling and Dutch and...
So it's exactly as you were saying, to open the door so that you turn round as you open the door. It's it's called Dutch Reach. There's an actual website and everything about it.
It just sounded like another sexual activity.
So yeah, that was interesting. We could put the links for that because it was something you were saying about
that is
avoiding
good.
Getting hit by a
great.
car door. This isn't relevant to anything.
It's about time we had some of this.
Okay. Salvador Dali had a pet ocelot. I'm just chucking that in. I said that to you earlier. What a brilliant sentence. Seriously. And it's true. Just the words, just the language. Salvador Dali had a pet ocelot.
Ocelot. How do you spell ocelot?
OCELOT.
Oh, yeah. So
it's cute, isn't it? It's like a little big. It's like a little big cat.
I mean, that's a beautiful cat.
Yeah.
But you were right. I think you said it was how fitting for Salvador Dali.
Yeah.
That's it. Finally, for this episode. Well done for getting this far, and thanks for listening. All links and references will be in our show notes. Please make sure you subscribe to us via your favourite podcasting app, and if you're enjoying this pod, then please do spread the word. Tell a friend, family member, nemesis, stop doing that with your pen, or whoever you feel would benefit from having us in their ears. Follow us on Instagram at I'mFinecast, and send your emails to us at imfinecast@gmail.com. In the next episode, it's going to be our music episode. Yeah. And you have to finish your top 100 by next week.
Okay. Unless we do it now.
What?
The episode.
No.
Because we're on good form.
No. No, you've just woken up. It's like, no, we're not.
Okay.
No, because I haven't prepared it.
No. All right.
So we're not. But in the next episode, we're going to talk about music. Yeah, I have to get your top 100 sorted.
Is it a music special?
Might well be. It'll be very meterly music.
It won't be self-indulgent, will it?
Hope not.
No. Okay.
Anyway. That's it. We'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah. See you later. Bye.